Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Untriggered Woman Podcast. My name is Mia Vivone. I'm so excited to bring you this guest today. I just can't even stand it. I am here with Serenity Madison. Serenity is the women's world disc golf champion. She is also the beautiful face behind the women's empowerment brand Soulshine, and she is the PDGA Women's Committee chairperson, using her platforms all over to encourage women to live their best lives. Serenity, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Mia. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, I love the shirt already, repping the brand. Yes, Soul Shine. I just love it. I'm going to ask you where you came up with that in just a moment. But first, I just want to say to all our listeners and all our viewers, what the Untriggered Woman podcast is really about is not suppressing emotions. It's not about escaping our emotions. It's embracing those things, those traumatic experiences that make us us, but in a way where it doesn't run our lives. And Serenity, you and I have a lot in common. I know there's a particular trauma that we share that happened when we were younger, this thing that no little girl should ever experience. And I just want to ask you, like, is that to you, is that the most significant or long lasting effect of trauma on you in your life? Is that your experience?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say that sexual abuse, sexual assault, it has been the most, long-standing trauma that I have dealt with in my life.
Thank you. I would share that, and science also backs that up. Anything where we're felt like we're stolen from, powerless, held captive, or even fearing for our death. And there are so many things that come with that particular trauma that a lot of women, they go into hiding and they never speak about it. I remember the first time I shared my particular experience, and we know that this oftentimes happens with somebody that we know. Those are the
Hmm.
numbers in the literature. But I know for myself, I never spoke of it plainly until I was actually working with a client a few years ago. And then later in a podcast, it was the Humanity Unlocked podcast, with Kimberly Daya, and I think I'll introduce you to her, as a matter of fact. But a lot of women don't want to talk about it. So the fact that we're here together sharing that experience, but also what I really want to focus on in this podcast is what we've done to come out of it. So what would you say were some of the most crucial turning points for you going through my system called the Untriggered Woman?
Yeah, I would say, just finding my voice, and feeling safe to be able to express myself and to feel seen and heard and valued in that process of, you know, speaking about the incidences, for the first few times, and really just having a safe space to explore and unpack, all of the things associated with that.
Terrific. Really good stuff. You have heard me say, well, you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but felt safety is only the beginning and not the end. Have you been exposed to nervous system regulation? And is this something that you've tried in the past but found that there was more?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm so glad that you brought that up because, nervous system regulation is so important and has been monumental in my healing because, I didn't know that I was in survival mode. I didn't know that that my nervous system was reacting. and in the process of, regulating my nervous system, I've been able to really, calm down my body to where I can process things in a manner that leads me to healing.
Terrific. Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? Because I can't do anything with my mind unless I feel safe in my body. People
Absolutely.
say direct your thoughts, reframe, think of something else, focus on something else, think positive. We've all had that experience with, paradigms that are positive to the toxic extent, right? But to be able to acknowledge what's happening in our body and then accept the feelings as normal and not having to escape them, not having to suppress them, now we can move into the workings of the mind of what is actually happening, what story is my brain telling me about what's happening
Hmm.
now. And if I can notice that, I can redirect it to the point of choosing a healthier response, one that aligns with the person, the woman that I want to be today. Have you found that ability in you recently to be able
Oh,
to?
most definitely. And that's why I was called to find you or to meet with you, is because I had, spent years, navigating this through different, modalities and variations and all of that, and just really um, frustrated because I continued to feel stuck. My body was reacting in a way that I couldn't move past, and I'm so glad that, we started working together because through, my, process with you, it's been really fabulous and just so freeing for me to be able to. I mean, I've cried, over this because the release and the relief, from feeling, captured in my body has really enabled me to move, into that next level of healing. I've been, you talked about the happy thoughts, all of that stuff, and the mind piece of it it only took me so far. It only took me so far, and that's actually why I started doing energy work, as well as, this aspect of it is because I felt the trauma captured, stuck in my body, and through working with you, I've been able to move through that in the nervous system regulation. And I just love it, and I appreciate you so much.
But I felt that. I got a little teary. Serenity, it's such a pleasure to know you and to have the opportunity to work with you. I really have the best seat in the house. Like, I have the best job ever. I do, just to watch you go through your process and to be more anchored in your form, but to also have the cognition that goes with it, the emotional and mental control that goes with it to affect your reality in a different way. That's huge. Working with both of them together, and I think we had this conversation in the past where we're both Reiki masters, and going down the energy, pathway. As for me, it was almost a desperation. Like, talk therapy didn't work, so let me get into crystals and chakras and
Hmm.
Reiki healing and drum circles. I've had a lot of that. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. And then we both have a friend, that does sound healing and all of these things,
Hmm.
learning about what works with the body and the mind. But the Untriggered Women system is about doing both at the same time.
Hmm.
They're in the body for the work of the mind. And I've seen you come along beautifully, and that's one of the reasons I invited you here, because not only is this podcast about teaching skills or even spotlighting professionals like Vicky Poole, who is a hypnotherapist, uh, but also I wanted to showcase people that I've actually worked with who have had a transformation in hopes of highlighting what they are doing to help other people. So on that note, Serenity, I just want to hear the vision behind the Soulshine brand.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. So the Soulshine brand really came about a few years ago when I got back into playing competitive disc golf. And Soulshine came about because I had wanted to brand myself and, fundraise for disc golf competitions and all of that. And so I started an apparel brand with the
Very
Soulshine,
lovely. Love the color. Yes.
with the lotus and the peacock feather, which is very, important to me as well. But yeah, so, being, this energy healer, this person, who has been through, my own transformation and, really in my journey of healing and transformation and involvement, I've really just, wanted to shine my light onto others and show them, that they are worthy and to help them find their light. And so that's where, Soulshine developed. And, it's many things. It's disc golf apparel, it's fitness apparel, you know, uh, it's an energy healing. It's, whatever it is that, helps make your soul shine, so that's really, where the soul shine came from.
And congratulations. A women's empowerment brand is what you told me Soulshine is. And on that note, I'm going to bring to light your love of fitness and nutrition. I know you have some products that you love. People will have the opportunity to look at some of your links when I post this and approach you for investigating those things that might have worked for you that could work for other people. But you are so motivational in your fitness videos. Like, I see you at the gym, you're in the squat rack, and both of us are gym rats. So I just think that's terrific. Fitness saved my life from suicide. It really, really did. Had I not become a fitness trainer and a sports nutritionist, I think I just would have stayed, bartending and doing the things I did in my past life to get by. And it really taught me how to connect my mind and body together being fitness. And to see you in that space and the things you say to people. One of the videos, one of your stories that was recent that stuck to my mind was you said, the beginning might be awkward. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
The beginning might be awkward. Do you remember the rest of what you said? It was along the lines that as you show up and you face that, you're telling yourself you can. It was something to that effect. I know I'm paraphrasing, but to me that was so powerful.
Just show up. Just show up. The most of the battle is just showing up for yourself. I have had my journey. So my journey is, and in that showing up for yourself thing is, from a young age, people didn't show up for me. That's what I was shown, people didn't show up for me, and, the people that I did put, my care into and, my life purpose into, it didn't go very well, and so that's the empowerment piece, the showing up for yourself, the taking your power back, owning who you are, finding yourself in the journey, and through my life journey, I've been able to show up for myself, and not know how to do things, and not letting that stop me from doing it because the answer is always no if you don't ask, or it's not even going to be an option if you don't give yourself the opportunity, And so speaking of like the fitness aspect, I am a mid-40s woman, and my mom going through, her changes in life, she just white knuckled through all of the things that she went through. And coming to her for advice was there was no information to share there. And so like, I got back into disc golf at 40 years old after a 15-year break from a shoulder injury, won a world championship title. Thank you for the title, call out, and, since then, I've been, showing up for myself, getting back into disc golf was really incredible. And the opportunities, that have come from that have been monumental, and if I had um, listened to the fear and the insecurities, that were going on in my head, then I wouldn't have given myself the opportunity to have a major comeback at 40 years old. And in that time, hormones started happening, changes started happening, and I had no idea. I had no idea what was happening to me, and I fell into like the darkest depression that I've ever been in. Not knowing, what my body was doing and having no control over anything. And so just really investigating that and doing my own research and, navigating, this time of my life has really been monumental and spearheaded, my fitness journey. You said I'm a gym rat, and 5 years ago I was not a gym rat. I would go to the gym, be really, intimidated by the weight racks and those weights, and I would just do the classes because somebody could tell me what to do and I would do it. But so much of like the women empowerment brand Soulshine, we this reclaiming, of myself, has been really, gotten me into my fitness and really understanding my body and my hormones and what is out there for us. This time in our lives for women is really from 40 to 60 is the same developmental stages from a 10-year-old to a 20-year-old. Imagine a 10-year-old and imagine a 20-year-old. And that's how much, we change from 40 to 60. And the research, the lack of research, and all of that stuff that is, concentrated in this area, women are suffering. And through my own suffering and through my own, journey of figuring things out and falling back in love with life, through, the understanding of my body, mind, spirit, that the whole gamut, the whole realm of life, all aspects is really where, I focus on, yeah. So it's been really great, and my body and I, we get along now. We're friends again, and it's been really beautiful to just really, I go to the gym grateful. I wake up super, not just like I'm grateful to be alive kind of a thing, but like, thank you, body, thank you for all that you do for me, and what can I do for you, and just really doing my best to be my best in this lifetime because it's short.
Wow, congratulations. And just to come from that standpoint of appreciating the vessel of spirit, appreciating that the exercise isn't a punishment for what we're eating. The exercise is a celebration of what our body can do. And
Yes.
having that relationship with our body changes our relationship with food, changes our relationship with eating patterns. And instead of feeling a void, often that comes with a mother wound and other traumas, certain or shared experience. There's a more deliberate choice of something that's going to make me feel better and
Mm-hmm.
keeping our promises to ourselves. So, congrats, Serenity. The statistics for women who experience sexual trauma are are for suicide are very high, are at risk surveys through mental health resources and things like that. APA, American Psychological and Psychiatric Association, they do these studies, and they say that we're more likely to become addicted, and both in recovery. Right? How many now do you have in your recovery?
13.
13. Congratulations.
I'm a teenager.
You're a teenager. Yes.
Yeah, I just turned 13 on the 16th of May.
Congratulations. And
thank you.
You're welcome. And then we're more likely to have trouble in relationships. That's been my story. That's been yours. Yes. Yes. And we're more likely to have a very difficult time holding a position at a job. And we both own our own businesses. And you're also employed. Tell me about your employment. Where do you work?
Yeah. So I talked a little bit about, getting back into disc golf at 40 years old. That's 5 years ago now. So I work for one of the biggest disc golf organizations in the world, Innova Disc Golf, and I'm their educational event and demonstration manager, which is the longest title known to mankind. But simply put is, I get to take the passion that I have, for disc golf, and help create programs in educational settings, and bring disc golf to schools, and I run clinics, and I actually have a national initiative right now for to help implement a high school disc golf championship in each state. My high school disc golf championship, NorCal high school disc golf championship, was the first of its kind last year, and really. That's part of like what Soulshine does too. I'm also the chair of the PDGA Women's Committee. It's just really amazing how when you say yes, and you have your heart open, what the universe provides, and getting back into disc golf, like that in itself is a whole nother podcast, I'm sure, podcast episode. But that in itself was such a reclamation and healing part, like monumental healing part of my journey, that it's just like disc golf is life now, whereas it was something I had put on the shelf because it was something I used to do. And my injury was caused by a domestic violence situation, and so like having something that was, taken from me at like a top of my game per se, and 15 years later to, not even, I didn't even intend on coming back to the sport, but with the pandemic and all of that stuff, that there were other plans for me. So, so within that, I've been able to really just foster this, this sense of safety, this sense of empowerment, this, helping everybody understand, just how important disc golf, it is, what a healthy outlet it is, mental, therapy, how, amazing it is. And I run a women's tournament every year. It's the Chain Goddess Pro-Am, and it's for women and juniors. It's some women, it's their very first tournament, because, it's so, such a, space of safety and encouragement and just empowerment for ladies to, launch, figure out if they want to be a casual player or a competitive player. But, being on the women's committee as well, helping to advocate for women in our sport, is something, I've learned to use my voice. And so with that honor, I take the responsibility of being that voice for women who haven't yet found theirs yet.
And, and, and on behalf of women everywhere, thank you so much for that, Serenity. How would you direct people? Well, first I want to comment on the reclamation of an injury from domestic violence, and then getting that back. Right? That is a really big deal. But also, women after listening to you are curious about skull. If they've never heard that before, but they Google it and they think it's amazing and they want to try it, but they're not pros and they've never done it before, where do they start?
Yeah, well, I mean, disc golf is prevalent around the world now. There's live disc golf, broadcast on TV now, and it's really, there are disc golf courses in cities and in your area. And I'm always available, to help connect you to somebody local, or I'm always available to to just help navigate getting started playing disc golf in your area. It's very simple. All you need is a disc and an address to your local course. And there's leagues, there's like weekly groups that play, there's clubs and all of that. And it's mostly a very welcoming environment. If you want to compete, hop on for a ride, and we can help you navigate that terrain as well.
What a terrific offer to help people that are curious connect with those resources, Serenity.
Most definitely.
This transformation that we'll both concede is forever ongoing. We're always learning. We're always moving. But this transformation so far has afforded you so much peace, stillness, and now success. And I know the job change actually happened in the beginning of you and I working together. There was this, I think there's something else out there, for me. And that to me was there for a really long time. But you were not able to give yourself permission to make a move. To witness that was probably one of the best highlights of my career, is to see you choose you. Not that there was anything wrong with the other place of employment, but whether or not it was aligning with you at this time was the question. Would you say that has been a smooth transition from your old job to Innova, or is that something that you had to really coach yourself into?
Say the last part again.
Was it a smooth transition from your previous job to Innova, or was there internal work that you had to do to become the person you are today for Innova?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think everything happens, succinctly and like how it's supposed to. And you know, I believe that my higher self has been calling, where I'm at today. I've been working towards that, years ago. I believe, things that I walked through. I don't want to say good or bad, challenging, great, highlights, whatever, the muck, all of that has really prepared me, gotten me to where I am today. Today, I can say that I have, my dream job. I work for a disc golf company that I'm also sponsored by. That is, the greatest organization in all of disc golf. I get to share my passion, with youth and young adults, and the community and everybody, and wearing the hat that I do on the women's committee, and just all of the things, and I still get to compete. I just won a championship event this last weekend. But anyways, yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Earlier.
It's so interesting. I don't feel my age at all. Like somebody told me a couple of weeks ago that it seems like I'm aging in reverse, and I really do feel that way. But it's really interesting because going back to your question, I do feel that I have, worked to get where I'm at today, and today is not, I haven't arrived, you know what I mean? Like there's still so much, there's still, so much coming.
To hear your joy, to hear your zest for life. And yes, a lot of people that go through a trauma transformation will age in reverse because we're using the nervous system, we're using the cognition, we're getting into quantum physics, quantum mechanics, which is really creating our own reality, and it affects epigenetics. Every cell has a consciousness. So when we say, "I'm body, I'm grateful for you, body," every cell in my body knows exactly who I am. That is my
Mm-hmm.
favorite one for when people come to me, and or I see on the news that somebody has a diagnosis. I reaffirm for myself that all of my cells know exactly who I am. Every cell vibrates well-being on my behalf. Things like that. When we put those in place, we absolutely can affect and our being, every level of our reality. And I know that sounds far-fetched to some people. We didn't make it up. We actually have scientific evidence that that's real today. And that's the other chapter that you are getting into with me now. And one of the reasons I brought you on today was because you're an example of what happens when a woman, pardon me, comes out of survival mode and gets into creating the life of her dreams, the job of her dreams. Like, I know you have a marriage to a wonderful man, Sam, for over a decade. I know you have children, together, and 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 everything going on in your life. You have a community, of host of friends, definitely a following on social media, and just this impact that you have in the world is because you are continuing to live in that creation. And the brain cannot survive and create at the same time. When we try to create, when we're in survival state, we end up with procrastination, self-sabotage. All of our limiting beliefs are still active. All of our thought habits are still occurring. And it seems like we take, two steps forward and a step back, and we just get frustrated and we believe it's not for us. Our brain tries to protect us by convincing us to give up or throw it all away, or my favorite, burn it to the ground. And all of that stuff doesn't have to happen. We can continue going forward. So to hear you acknowledge that aspect, yeah, I've seen a change in you because your face is lighter, right? Your cells are different. This work and what you were doing even before we met, all those things together, because it really is a multidisciplinary approach, wellness.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yep.
There's so much that
Mm-hmm.
we do to nurture ourselves. But as women survivors of trauma, not exactly second nature. It's something that we grow into by integrating those traumatic experiences, and then we get to put ourselves first. So Serenity, just really quick before we wrap up, I want to hear you talk about how people can find you. How they
Yeah.
can find you, how they can find Soulshine, all of that.
Most definitely. Well, you will be sharing links to my apparel which is ever evolving. And if you ever have requests on things, just shoot me a message, and we'll make it happen. I have this logo, and then I have another logo, and I will also be fundraising for my trip to Lithuania in September. Yep, I'm representing Team USA.
Yes. Big
Yeah,
shout
Team
out
USA in
there.
September. Yeah, so I'll be popping in some special items there for the fundraising. That'll be limited edition items, and then you can find me on social media. I am Soulshine Serenity on Instagram, and Serenity Hope Madison on Facebook, and I'm just getting a TikTok going. So stay tuned for that. But just if you follow me on my socials, that that will be enough.
Perfect. Perfect, Serenity. And this Lithuania trip for Team USA, what an incredible, and I remember we were sitting together and something happened in our session space and we're like, oh, the big news coming, and then you find out that you're taking the trip, and I don't know if you ever thought that, going that far, the other side of the world, basically, to not just in your capacity as a women's world disc golf champion and Team USA, but also as a woman who is on a healing journey toward wellness and toward living her best life, where you get to share your message with an entirely different population. I could not be happier for you. It's been such a pleasure having you on today. I want to ask you one question before we go, and that is, if there's a woman out there who has experienced molestation as a young child, like we both have as little girls, and she is holding that secret and nobody has ever heard, what would you tell her today to encourage her?
Oh, I would just tell her that I see her, I hear her. You are not broken, and you do deserve to find the peace and happiness that you are searching for. You are deserving.
Wow, really powerful. I felt that in my heart. Thank you so much for going public. Thank you so much for the healing work that you have done and continue to do to be a vessel for a message of hope. Yeah, I love you so much.
I love you. Thank you. This is such an honor. I appreciate you.